Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Cartoon in the News, believe it or not. This is going to be a new experiment, so if I screw up, if I flub anything, please forgive me because I have no idea what I'm doing. This is Cartoon in the News. It's going to be a new segment we're going to try every week, and basically we're going to be talking about cartoons in the news, whether they're fact or fiction. Okay, so you're just going to have to judge what you see here, fact or fiction. All right, so we're going to begin with the most iconic cartoon show in the Saturday morning cartoon history. This week, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Celebrated 52 years on our screens and in our dreams. And when asked how he could have survived this many years amongst us, Scooby responded, well, it wasn't the snacks. I tweaked the internet and it would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those meddling kids. All right, so that was my Scooby impersonation. I know it sucked. My apologies. So once again, Scooby-Doo, that really was bad. Still celebrates 52 years, believe it or not, Scooby-Doo. All right, also on the scene, if you know our friend Marty Grabsteins, who plays Courage the Cowardly Dog, he joined Scooby in a new movie entitled Straight Out of Nowhere, Scooby. Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. We tried to get a statement from Marty, and he left us. I hate this guy. You're not going to believe this, but Marty left us with this as I click screen, and my face all over the place. He said, go out and buy it, you schmucks. Yeah, he called us schmucks. I know you guys got the money. Mark Lee, you suck. Released on DVD, except in Mark Lee's neighborhood. So go get Straight Out of Nowhere, Scooby-Doo Meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. That has debuted on DVD. Go out and buy this. We got a serious problem that I think we need to discuss. And this may not relate to some people, but the Herculoids are in desperate search for one of their members. Kidnapped while they slept, Dorno, their young son, was snatched from his bed during the night. When asked who was on duty during that time, they basically said, well, he was last seen with this guy. So, okay, so Dorno's missing. That's so bad. Oh, my God. Okay, also, Elmer Fudd has been seen on the hunt, guys. We really got to find Elmer Fudd because this is getting serious. Elmer Fudd is not coming up on my screen right now, which really sucks. But Elmer Fudd has been seen on the hunt again in his constant pursuit to capture that wascally wabbit. Mr. Fudd has lost the scent, but we think we know where he is. Well, we did know where he is, but I don't know where he is. So that has been Cartoon in the News. Boy, do I need a lot of work to get this thing working right. In fact, this really sucks. So that was Cartoons in the News. I hope you guys hated it just as much as I hated it. So let's go ahead and get Man, what the hell was I doing? Where are you, Jerome? Jerome?
You know, this it reminds me back to the first shows we did. You know, the problems that we had. So this will get better.
Yeah, I liked it. I actually I like it.
I liked it. I liked it. I think though. I think you have to do the whole Gary Owens, from live from beautiful downtown Burbank, with the,
That's what I need. I need the comments. I need criticism. I think what I need to do is tape these. Okay.
Or better yet, we could do the I'm Mark Lee and you're not.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I think I really need to tape these because some of my videos, man, let me show you something. When I was talking about, and we're going to bring out guests here soon, but I want him to watch this too. When I was talking about Elmer Fudd looking for that wascally wabbit, this is what was supposed to pop up because I was supposed to say something like, but I think we found him.
You're a horrible human being.
It was supposed to have been that clip, and it didn't show up on my platform here. I'm on a new platform, guys, by the way, that I'm using. It allows me to go ahead and put up all kinds of funky stuff, this platform. Garrett gave me a little bit of education. Well, he actually gave me a lot of education on this kind of stuff, but it's a little cumbersome. He has a team for his show, and they can go around and they can click things on and off. And I'm doing 3 jobs at once here, and it gets a little crazy. Oh, yeah. So I was really afraid of putting this up because I'm like, oh my God, man, they're going to attack me, but Dorno was seen with this dude. And I think the Herculoid is going to be pissed. But anyway.
It's real bad.
It's real bad. Hey, we have a super show today. We have an incredible guest. And we're going to bring him up. You've seen him before, but let me put up his, what he's saying? You need to do the news with a straight face. That's true. I'm sorry, Charles. I was just cracking up at my idiocy, and I couldn't.
Oh, we got to get you at least a fake microphone for, when you do those remotes.
Yeah, I should do it on the scene or something like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I really apologize, Charles, but I try my best. Hey, this guy we really like. We've had him on before. Actually, I think he's joined us twice before, but we're going to go ahead and bring him on. If you see, look at his handsome face. That's probably
he's got that Orson Welles look to him.
It's the best trim job I've ever seen him have. So, I'm sorry that I have to frighten you with this face this morning, but we still love this guy, Joe, buddy boy.
Good morning.
Hey, actually, that's not a bad trim job there you got. Okay.
He needs a glass of wine in his hand to go with that. That Orson Welles look.
You're going to have to settle for coffee this morning.
No.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, this is a classic television smackdown where we have a beer in one hand.
Hey, I'm a tea drinker, tough guy. I'm a tea drinker, just so you know. But, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Thompson is joining us once again on Saturday Morning Cartoons. For those that are joining us for the first time, because I know we got a few of Joe's buddies joining us, you can actually go in the chat room, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're on the Facebook page, and go ahead and say really, really bad stuff about Joe, okay? Because I'm not putting up the good stuff. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of his acting. But
there's too much that's good said about me. Yeah, you need to even it out a little bit.
Yeah, you need to. You're right. But Joe, we love you to death. I spent last week. Was that just last weekend, Joe?
I think it was the weekend before last.
I'm losing my freaking sense of time here. I'm in a time loop or something. But Joe and I were at Dragon Con together, and we spent some really good quality time together. I'm really happy that you were there for the Georgia Symphony Orchestra performance of all these sci-fi shows that they did.
And Joe.
Yeah.
I don't know how you got my phone number, but I'm still not giving you bail money.
I think Joe can handle himself. He probably will refuse to bail money. Joe, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just going to serve the time.
You're going to serve the time. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Did you meet somebody in there or something? You want something you want to tell us? And our lovely co-host, Rosemarie Rose, is joining us once again this morning. This is the best of Saturday Morning Cartoons that we do is when we have a guest host. We've done so many various different cartoons. We focus on so many different cartoons from the 50s all the way up to the 2000s. I guess around about when Saturday Morning Cartoons ended. But we love it when someone comes up with a new and fresh idea. And Joe is going to share with us his show this morning. So, Joe, go ahead and tell us a little bit of what you got going on, buddy boy.
Well, I wanted to follow up because last time we had done the DC animated universe from the 90s. Mm-hmm. And then I started thinking it would be cool to do one about Marvel. And Marvel didn't really have a proper animated universe. It was really just a spattering of shows throughout the decades. So I thought I would showcase the most notable, the most important ones, the worst ones, and just kind of, give us a big smorgasbord of 60s to 90s Marvel cartoons.
That's fantastic. And I'm sure you did a lot of research on this. Of course, we'll be the judge of that. And I know that what you're going to show us this morning is things we've all probably seen in our youth, but I'm really interested in hearing from people who have seen nothing of these. I mean, we are cartoon freaks. And me being a product of the 60s and 70s, grew up with a lot of stuff during the 60s and 70s, which I think was still the best time for animation, in my opinion, during those times. And Joe, obviously, you're going to go ahead and share something with us. So go ahead, buddy, take it away.
Yeah, and so full disclosure, I had some technical difficulties with my laptop, so I'm on my iPad, but I'm using another screen for my script. So if I look weird and I'm looking off the screen, it's not because I'm having a seizure. It's just because there's technical difficulties. So,
dude, your apology this morning in no way tops my apology. Okay, just say.
Doing apologies.
So Marvel Animation. Marvel Animation, it's a collection of mostly unrelated cartoons based on Marvel Comics, and they began in the 1960s, running through present day. Unlike the film universe, the MCU, and the DCAU, there wasn't a persistent continuity established between each series. So we're going to highlight some of the most notable shows, whether known for their cultural impact, the great adaptations, or laughable choices. And there are laughable choices. So
we're starting early.
Yeah, the Marvel universe proper in the TV world began with the Marvel superheroes. It was Marvel's first foray in animation. Yep. They only ran for 3 months with this show, but they ran from September through December of 1966. So it was really early, even in the Marvel Universe. The Marvel Universe had only been around for a few years at that point. The series focused on Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, and Namor, of all people, as they battled the likes of Baron Zemo, Red Skull, Loki, and Doctor Doom. So all the classics. The stories were all taken from existing comic stories. And legends such as Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, who Steve Ditko was obviously the artist that drew Spider-Man, Jack Kirby, the king of comic art, John Romita Sr., and even Jerry Siegel from Superman fame, who created Superman, all wrote for the series. They used a really interesting animation style. It's called xenography. And that's when they use the original comic art, and they basically just copy it and make crude animation out of it. And you can see right there in that image, that's actually Jack Kirby art. And most of this was Jack Kirby art that they used to animate it. So they produced a crude form of animation. The series was canceled after 65 episodes, which is a pretty huge feat to think that they created 65 episodes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And they were three segments per episode. So technically it's something like 130 different clips over 3 months. So it was a rush job.
You think?
Yeah. But if you want to roll the clip, we can take a look at our first foray into the Marvel Universe in animation. And be prepared.
Meet the sulky, over-bulky, kinda hulky superhero. Hot-twisted and electrically transistored superhero. An exotically erotic and aquatic superhero. The Marvel superheroes have arrived. Superpowered from the forehead to the change their very shape before your nose. See our cane-striking superhero change to Viking superhero. A humdinging, real swinging, shield-flinging superhero. They're the latest, they're the greatest, ultimatest superheroes. The Marvel superheroes have arrived.
It sounds like an old 50s commercial.
It is.
This is not one of those cases where the animation is better in the intro than the show itself. It's all bad.
It's all bad.
I love these animations.
Yeah.
I recommend them to people who are just starting out on comic books also. Because like you said, they're almost word for word comic issues of that age of the Silver Age of comics.
Yeah.
And you cannot afford to go and buy Avengers #4, the first appearance of Captain America.
Oh, no.
But you can come and watch it on one of these episodes.
And I think the interesting thing is, if you guys remember when they first started making comics in digital form, they were doing basically a version of this, like digital animatics of existing comics. So they kind of threw this back on the web, this technique, even though it was utilizing the digital form of it. They kind of did the same thing. I do want to point out a really strange lyric. I don't know if anybody caught it, but when they got to Namor, so first of all, a little bit of a history lesson. Namor was never part of the Avengers, right?
Yeah,
he's Marvel's first mutant. He's the Submariner.
Yes.
We are going to probably see him show up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe here in the next year or two. There's been a huge rumor that he's going to be part of the Black Panther 2, and it's going to be like the Wakandans versus the Atlanteans. But when they got to the lyric, they said, an exotically erotic and aquatic superhero.
I did catch that.
Which is a weird thing to say to kids.
Hey, look, I'm sorry, man, but I know I look damn good in my tighty whitey, so I don't understand. You're watching,
thanks. I don't want to see it.
You're watching Saturday morning in your underwear if you were a real kid back then. Yeah. So, okay, you're right. It's inappropriate. You're right. It's inappropriate.
But Joe, what I really liked the best about all of these hero shows was the individual segments had their own theme songs.
Yes.
And I gotta say, I still hum the Captain America one every so often, and the lyrics on some of them can be a little hard to understand, but they were catchy as hell. They were earworm material.
Yeah, I agree.
I fully expect to see Mark at his next convention with some Namor green Speedos and wings on his feet. You gotta have
wings on his ankles. Yeah.
That's what does it for you, huh, Joe? Okay, the wings on my feet. Okay, all right. Well, good job, man, on that one. What else you got?
All right, so the next one was probably the real animated series, which was Spider-Man, of course. You've got the first son of Marvel Universe. So Spider-Man was the first Marvel cartoon to focus on one hero. It ran for 1 year, so definitely a step up from the 3 months on Marvel Superheroes. It began in September of '67, about a year after, with nearly 60 episodes. And the first season was produced by the same team that produced the Marvel Superheroes show, which is Grant Trey Lawrence. They went bankrupt. And so as a result, seasons 2 and 3 were produced by a little known animator, Ralph Bakshi.
That explains the last season.
Yeah. Ralph Bakshi did the seasons 2 and 3. And he's known, of course, from Wizards, Fire and Ice, Cool World.
Felix the Cat. Well, anyway, there's another one he did that's X-rated.
Oh yeah.
This
was
known
for that.
Is that Fritz the Cat?
Fritz, thank you.
Yes.
Fritz the Cat.
Yeah, this was probably one of the most psychedelic cartoon series I've ever seen.
It explains the Electro episode at the end near the third season it got really weird and almost like a tie-in with the Robin Hood in space episodes. So it was very strange.
Well, I know that the season 3 they reused a lot of assets and they even recycled some of the storylines because Ralph Bakshi was given like a shoestring budget for season 3. So to save money, they also I don't know if you notice, you'll see in the clip, Spider-Man only has webs on his hands, face, and feet. They didn't do the body because it would cost too much to draw those web lines on each. Yeah, there you go. So much of the animation was recycled, and one of the most notable aspects of the show is, of course, the theme song.
Yes.
It's actually written by Academy Award winner Paul Francis Webster. He is known for Ed Sullivan's Show. He's known for Grease, The Shining, Fame, Wonder Years. Just look at this guy's like body of work. It's amazing that they got this guy to do the Spider-Man theme song. It was composed by Bob Harris. He didn't do anything else. The song has been long embraced by pop culture aficionados. So
one of the most iconic songs, I think.
It was even used in the closing credits of the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie.
Of course. Yep.
I love seeing the dude, the little, I think he's like a street musician, and he's playing that in that movie. You see him on the side of the building.
Did you ever hear the Ramones version of it?
Yes, it's fantastic.
Awesome. So is this a go?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Take a look at one of the greatest theme songs.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, bud, he's got radioactive blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look overhead. Hey there goes the Spider-Man. In the chill of night, at the scene of a crime, like a streak of light, he arrives just in time. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Wealth and fame, he's ignored. Action is his reward to him. Life is a great big hang-up. Wherever there's a hang-up, you'll find the Spider-Man.
Yeah. Bravo! Bravo! Emmy, bravo!
Now,
I just love that.
I don't know. Joe, I don't know if you've seen all of them. I know I have because I grew up with them. But did you notice that no Mary Jane Watson and no Gwen Stacy in this show whatsoever?
Yeah, it's a weird show. I did grow up watching this one in reruns, and I liked it because it was my first exposure to Spider-Man. Because I saw this one, and I want to say this was right before, maybe the year before the 80s one started. So I had seen this one. I hadn't seen the 70s version, but the 70s version is apparently just kind of a recycled version of this, But yeah, I grew up watching it, and it's not a very solid adaptation. It doesn't really. They use, of course, Spider-Man, but a lot of the Spider-Man supporting characters aren't in it at all. So, but it's a fun show. It's not comic accurate, but it's still fun.
Yeah, like I said before, it is very psychedelic. There was certain scripts, certain episodes that were like, they're going, but it was almost like going into the micro universe of Ant-Man when you see some of these landscapes that were painted in these backdrops. It was just, absolutely amazing. So, all right, what else you got?
It's weird. So Dr. Doom was a major character in it. And that's strange. Dr. Doom probably never fought Spider-Man alone in the comics. Maybe when Spider-Man's teaming up with Fantastic Four or the Avengers, but they use Dr. Doom a lot, and some of the Spider-Man villains were just given bit parts. So, but it was still a fun show. So it was a step in the right direction. And next, we're going to talk about Fantastic Four.
Who?
Yep. The Fantastic Four, of course, Marvel's first family. Stan Lee said many times over the years that it was his favorite. It was favorite series that he ever developed. It was near and dear to his heart. So there was 2 Fantastic Four series, and we're going to split time between both of them because neither one is really worth the full dive in. So the first one happened right after Spider-Man, and that was the one in 1968. It was actually produced by Hanna-Barbera. They did a pretty good job considering. They did have a low budget, as was the theme back then. It lasted 20 episodes, and it was a relatively faithful adaptation. You did have the 4 main characters, of course. You got Reed Richards, who is Mr. Fantastic, Sue Richards, who's Invisible Woman. You've got The Thing, and you've got Johnny Storm. The series was short-lived and ended after 1 year. But in 1978, they redid it. They did the reboot. You know, the ones that we keep seeing, you know, these days, like, 10 years after a movie's out, hey, let's reboot it. They took that approach in 78. It began with a major departure from the original comics. Rumors that studio pressure from parents over concerns of children lighting themselves on fire, they omitted the Human Torch. Johnny Storm was replaced with Herbie, a helpful robot. Now, Johnny Storm was also, well, I'm not Johnny Storm, but the Human Torch was also licensed out to another project that never got off the ground. So that probably had something to do with it. But there's been persistent rumors for years that it was, a lot of pressure from parents.
Well,
so
they made a joke about that on Saturday Night Live one night about the Human Torch costume, basically clipping oily rags to your kid's clothes.
Hey, if you can simulate that fire, why not? So let's take a look at the clip. The show was very short-lived. It lasted 13 episodes. You're about to see why.
Thank God.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
It was the world's strangest accident while testing a new rocket ship. Our heroes were bombarded by mysterious cosmic rays from outer space. Though they crash-landed safely, the strange and powerful rays had changed each one of them, transforming their leader, Reed Richards, into the plastic-skinned Mr. Fantastic. Sue Richards into the Now You See Her, Now You Don't, Invisible Girl. And Ben Grimm into a mighty muscle powerhouse called The Thing. Now together with Herbie the Robot, the newest member of the group, they have become the greatest team of superheroes the world has ever known. The new Fantastic Four.
Okay, so
I gotta say, I like the original 1960s one because it tied into a lot of the comic books of that.
Yeah,
time.
I do too. I think the 60s version was my favorite as well.
Yeah, the 60s one, it was kind of hailed for being faithful. And I think the biggest issue was that they really weren't given the time or the budget to really see that one through. What genius decided to reboot them like this? I mean, they hopefully after the 13 episodes aired, they lost their job because this was horrendous. This was like Thundercats Roar level of like bad decision. So we're gonna move on from that and move on to something a little bit better.
Thank God.
Yes. So in 78. We saw Marvel's first heroine, get featured, which is Spider-Woman. So Jessica Drew, also known as Spider-Woman, led the cartoon, aired in 1979. It had 16 episodes, so a little bit more than Fantastic Four.
Oh, heck, that one entered the culture.
It did. And, the great thing is they really nailed her look. It's one of those costumes that if you mess with it, it's just not going to work,
Yeah.
So they did a fantastic job from that respect. They did change her origin a bit. I think they were probably trying to appeal to little girls at the time. So she originally was a super spy that kind of, got away from her her organization in the comics, and as a result of experiments had the spider powers. In the cartoon, she's a magazine editor, so career woman, I guess, that works. And she was injected with spider serum as a child, not really sure why. Her powers were also changed, so she lost her super strength. She gained spider telepathy.
Yeah, don't doubt the vaccines. Okay, just take it, Joe.
But I can't talk to spiders with my mind, Mark.
Oh, well,
you took the wrong vaccine. I'm talking to the critters.
Yeah. Well, she apparently got the 5G too because she can fly. So they added that.
I like the Venom Blast.
The Venom Blasts were cool.
Yeah.
So the cool thing is the Venom Blasts were then used by Marvel Comics when they developed the Latino/Black Spider-Man, Miles Morales, who's awesome.
Yeah.
And so they actually used some of the powers that she had in this cartoon in Miles Morales. He has the Venom Blast, and he can turn invisible. So the animation was okay. Spidey did make appearances in the show on a couple occasions. They had no relation. They weren't friends before that. They didn't really share any of the same powers or enemies. But it was the last of these kind of crappy animated shows.
Yeah.
No,
you got one more to go. That's worse.
You think so?
Don't.
I ain't saying which one. I'm just saying he's got one more to go.
Well, don't hint
because. So we're not going over all of them. We may end up skipping that one, Jerome. I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. So yeah, let's roll the clip. Jennifer, my wife, just said, "Hey, she's working today. Poor girl." So she had to work today, but she said hi.
Hey, Jen. Hi, darling.
All right, so let's take a look at Spider-Woman.
Look, up on the building, it's Spider-Woman.
And this is Jessica Drew, who as a child, while visiting her father's laboratory, was bitten by a poisonous spider. Forced to try an untested spider serum, Dr. Drew not only saved his daughter's life, but unknowingly gave her incredible spider-like powers. Dedicated to fighting evil while weaving her web of justice, it's Spider-Woman.
The biggest damn monster.
And I don't know about you guys. There's not too many solo heroes that could have taken on that big monster, And this is not to disparage Jessica Drew. I love her in the comics. She's one of my favorite heroines. Captain Marvel could have taken him on, but even Spider-Man would have gotten squashed. So yeah.
I as I watched that again, I realized you could see two major influences on this character.
Yeah.
Okay. First is the way they dress her, the way she looks very much like the civilian version of Isis. That actress, Joanna. I can't think of it. And the other one is, notice she spins like Wonder Woman when she changes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So.
Yeah. I knew you'd say Wonder Woman. What was the first one?
Isis. Almighty Isis.
Yeah, I don't. see that, but okay.
Well, you look at the clothing, look at the civilian side of it, how she dresses and everything like that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, all right, I got it.
And you know what? I had a thought, Joe. Maybe
Yeah.
they made her a magazine person because Peter Parker was doing newspaper business.
That makes
So
sense.
maybe that's the correlation for it.
Yeah, there you go.
Good point. I like that.
Well, if so, then they definitely were going for the female empowerment, because Peter Parker was just a crappy freelance photographer.
Yeah.
If she's a magazine editor, she's at like J. Jonah Jameson level,
Yeah,
Yeah.
about that. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, what else?
So that's great. Great thought, Rose. So the next one we're going to go over, and I hope people don't get sick. The reason why there's so much of the same characters is because, well, frankly, they reuse the same characters over and over to do these.
Yeah.
So you'll see some diversity later on, but there's a lot of Spider-Man, So the next series proper we're going to go over is Spider-Man. So there was actually 2 Spider-Man series. Yeah. And it started in 1981, and that was just Spider-Man from the 80s. But we're going to delve more into the follow-up series that started in the same year, and that's Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
There you go. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, so it was really this was the first series that kicked off the new Marvel productions. And it was in 81. It featured high quality animation for its time, and voice acting. And the series featured Dr. Doom as Spidey's nemesis due to his resemblance to Darth Vader. The show became Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, with Spidey teaming up with, this was really weird. It was a weird pairing. I don't know why they chose these, but they chose Bobby Drake, Iceman from the X-Men, and then Firestar from the New Warriors. It's a really weird group. Yeah, it just really is. It's a strange pairing.
Yeah.
But they were all the same age range, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
The show lasted until 1983 and paved the way for even more Marvel cartoons. The notable thing about this series was this was the first time that Stan Lee became a narrator on a cartoon series. Now, this was something that they continued on after this. But this you'll hear his voice if you watch the cartoon and hear him narrate each episode. And he kind of is like the moral compass. He kind of tells you what's about to happen or the lesson you need to learn or what have you. So let's take a look at the clip. Spider-Man. That's the official seal.
Yeah. Couldn't find a warrior.
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, Iceman and Firestar. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
All right.
So, did you guys watch this show at all?
Oh,
I did.
Yeah.
I did not.
I grew up watching this one. This was I was 6 years old when this show came out, so I was like,
oh, you young whippersnapper.
But I mean, I was like the prime target audience. It was fun, I don't know that it really got me into comics, but it was fun. It was a fun show. A lot of it didn't make sense though. There's a lot of weird little things that there's some continuity issues. Firestar kind of falls in love with Kraven the Hunter. And I don't know if you guys know who Kraven the Hunter is, but
yes, I do.
So he's this guy that, he believes that he is the greatest hunter, ever. And he decides in the comics he's going to go after Spider-Man. So you know, he's hunting Spider-Man in the cartoon, but then Firestar falls in love with him. But then in the original Spider-Man series, he had already had a tussle with him. So it's like the continuity just doesn't match up.
So there were two important things that happened in the show for the Marvel television universe.
Yeah.
I believe this was the show with the first real animated version of the X-Men. There was an episode of basically 10 little Indians, and it was the X-Men and the Avengers.
Yeah.
And I believe this was the first real appearance of the X-Men.
It was, yes. Yeah, it was a really trying to expand the Marvel universe. I think that's why they went with the Amazing Friends. So you did see, you know, the other characters through the Marvel universe pop up. So
awesome. All right, buddy.
All right, so
you're doing good, man. I'm enjoying this.
Yep. Okay. So the next series we're going to take a look at. I don't really have a lot to say about this one. I did watch it as a kid. I was scared of it as a kid. This was from a tonal standpoint, this was a really dark and kind of mature rated show for Saturday mornings, and that's The Incredible Hulk. Started in 1982. It was set in the same universe as Spider-Man and Spider-Man is Amazing Friends. It was very intense. It highlighted Bruce Banner's internal struggles, his relationship with Betty Ross, living on the run from General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, his feud with the leader. They did portray Hulk as heroic, and he did have more control than he did, like, say, in the Lou Ferrigno live-action series. But he was still just very angry and intense, and the show had a darker palette than at previous shows. I did watch it, but I remember a few times doing like this, you know, like, do I want to see what's happening? Because it was scary. He was an angry guy, and he just, you know, he'd freak out. And they did a great job of conveying his transformation into the Hulk. One of the best jobs so far of like his powers. So let's take a look.
Oh, you got me off guard here. Oh, sorry.
Jerome, did you guys watch this?
I caught a couple of episodes. It really did. The Hulk has never really appealed to me.
Yeah. What about you, Rose? Rose?
Now I remember, it was the music that I loved. The theme song to this was fantastic. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was awesome. Rose, did you watch that one at all?
I saw some of it. I have to say that my husband is a huge Incredible Hulk fan. That's his favorite. He collected the comics for years. He has a huge comic collection. You know, in the 70s, I don't know if you did this, Joe, but Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk, they were huge. I mean, they were huge icons. And kids out on the playground, we would play out these roles and act them out. You know, something I don't really know if kids do that today because they're burying their iPhones. But we used our imaginations. We made up our own stories about the Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man. So yeah, these Marvel shows played a big part in my life growing up.
I had Incredible Hulk underoos.
You just topped my tidy whities. Oh my god,
Jerome, you're muted.
I want to see a picture. Okay, I want proof.
Underoos were so awesome.
Jerome, you cannot have a picture of me when I was 6 years old in my underwear. I'm sorry.
I bet your parents have it though.
And he still had the beard.
Yeah, well, yeah,
yes,
I knew that.
Yes, I was born with it.
So on this show, did they show the origin of She-Hulk? I think I remember seeing that.
They did. Yes.
Yeah.
They showed Jenny, giving
and it
her,
was pretty much based upon the comic, right?
Yeah,
they didn't transition.
I think she got into a car wreck, and then she had to get a blood transfusion from her cousin because he was the only blood donor match, and then she got the blood transfusion and became She-Hulk. So yeah. Yep, and she was, unlike the regular Hulk, she was very coherent and intelligent and articulate, even though she was super strong.
That's where I started having a thing for green women.
I'm looking forward to the Marvel Universe's schedule of She-Hulk next year. I think. Yeah. Looking forward.
I think that's going to be a really good one.
Yeah, I agree.
They're the early kind of rumors about it suggest that they're going for a legal comedy with her, and they're really going to be highlighting Jenny Walters' attorney practice as She-Hulk, which is fantastic.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, I want to see it. I would love to see her as She-Hulk defending somebody, and then like an alien crashes through the courtroom, and she's got to go beat their ass. I just think that would be fun. So
that sounds fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, good
job.
job.
It's gonna change. It'll definitely change Rose's job then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rose, you'll have to wear green face paint then when you go to court.
That's Rose every morning.
It is.
All right, Joe. Keep going, buddy. You're doing good.
Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to go over is not exactly a series, but it does lead into a series. A lot of people didn't see this because it was a TV pilot and they aired it one time. No, I think they actually re-aired it one other time, but it was really an off schedule. That is Pride of the X-Men. So Pride of the X-Men was a 1989 TV pilot. It preceded the 90s X-Men show. So due to this, they were able to get the X-Men show. It showcased a lineup from the kind of 70s era X-Men. So Cyclops, Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, and then interestingly, the first appearance and really only appearance of Dazzler in the cartoons. They also used Kitty Pryde. So Kitty Pryde was used as a kind of a plot device in the X-Men where she was the young generation trying to join up with them. They were trying to induct her in. And she was like the reader's point of view. She's like, oh, what are all these weird people that look freaky and have these strange powers? And why does everybody hate me just because I'm a mutant? So they did kind of focus on the Kitty Pryde aspect. And the team, worked against fighting against Magneto, of course, and his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants and all that jazz. So it is a really cool pilot. They made a couple weird choices. Wolverine has an Australian accent.
Well, that's appropriate because Hugh Jackman's from Australia.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But it was still pretty cool. I really liked it a lot. I had kind of forgotten about this until I was researching again. I was like, oh yeah, I remember watching that. And I didn't put it together at that time. I saw it when it came on, and then I saw the X-Men series. And, because I was a dumb kid, I didn't realize this was what gave us the X-Men series. So yeah, let's take a look at the clip because it's actually really cool. The animation's awesome. I think it's really a neat little kind of piece of history in the Marvel animated universe.
Oh, wants to hide. No place to run. No place to run. Mutant age has now begun. X-Men, X-Men, it's a day, X-Men, X-Men, Magneto's hordes are on the way to pillage, burn, and
kind of hard not to think of Magneto's whores. I'm sure they said whores, but
I think they should have stuck with Brotherhood of Evil Mutants instead of
there's certain words you can't say on television that won't be distinguished as something else. So
right, yeah.
All right.
Okay, so that obviously led into the 90s X-Men, which is widely considered to be one of the greatest animated series of all time. It's definitely one of the best Marvel, if not the best Marvel animated series.
I agree, it is the best Marvel.
Yep, and so that debuted a few years later in 92. And it quickly became recognized as one of the best Marvel productions and the best kind of adaptations from the comics. The quality of the animation was incredible, especially considering they were given a fraction of the budget of competing shows like Batman animated series. The voice acting was superb. The series is one of the most faithful to its source, and the reason for that is the staff apparently were all huge X-Men fans.
That helps.
Yep, and so great. They really wanted to pay homage to Chris Claremont and even Stan Lee and all the great stories that were created. So some of the famous arcs like Days of Future Past and the Phoenix Saga, those were represented, which was really cool. And it marked the first real series that there was a continuous storyline from episode 1 through the very end of the series.
Yeah.
The one change they did make was instead of Kitty Pryde, Jubilee was kind of used as like the point of view for the viewer, coming into this world. Jubilee was kind of like that in the comics, but they really kind of gave her the Kitty Pryde role. And probably because her power is a little bit flashier, no pun intended.
Literally, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The show ran for an impressive 5 years. It's ranked by Rotten Tomatoes as the 5th greatest superhero animated series of all time. It usually has a viewer score of around 9.2, 9.4, kind of hovers in that area. It was a great show. It was just so much fun. Everything from, including that 90s classic lineup of, having Gambit in there and having Rogue, Bishop. I mean, it's just such a great series. It's so much fun to watch. It is on Disney Plus. You can watch the whole series on Disney Plus. I highly recommend it. If you're ever interested in the X-Men comics, not those crappy movies, and you really want like a condensed version of like 20 to 30 years of X-Men comics, go watch this series because it will condense most of those major storylines all in one, all in the 5 seasons.
Hey Joe, did you get up with Chris at DC?
I did not.
I did not either. Didn't have a chance to get over to the. Whoa, what was that? Get over to the artist.
Sorry, that's here. They're bringing in the truck.
I got it. I didn't have a chance to get over to his side because he wasn't in the Walk of Fame. I think they had him over at the America's Mart building. I was really, really upset about that, but I know he'll be back. So Neil Adams comes back all the time, and I know Chris will come back too.
Yeah, so. and that's the thing. Like he was in the comics, the Pop Art Gallery. I saw him and I walked past and I showed Jennifer. I was like, this guy right here, he wrote everything that I read as a teenager. Right. I mean, like when I was such a nerd in high school, well, my whole life, but yeah. We would every Wednesday, the closest comic shop was 45 minutes away. Every Wednesday, I'd pile my friends in the car. We'd drive over to Titans Comics in Gwinnett and pick up our new comics. I mean, I remember buying, X-Men, and then X-Men #1, the reboot came out. Chris Claremont, I mean, he, we're not worthy. There was a line to see him. Everybody was getting things signed. I didn't have anything to sign. So I didn't want to take up his time, I didn't think he probably wanted to hear from another fan about how much he changed their lives and crap, So I did miss his panel Sunday because I was too busy going to your panel for The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
Priorities, I got to go support my friend.
Oh, listen to you.
Instead of go to see a modern legend in writing.
Oh crap! Why don't we just play the clip?
Previously on X-Men.
Right.
I need to say this. I have watched every single episode of this cartoon. To know what we're watching today, especially the kids, the gen, can't remember what letter of the alphabet the generation is into now, but this was the only thing we had back then. We were never introduced to even live action superheroes, so we had to throw all of our faith on the animators that they will bring our superheroes to the screen and do them justice. This show was so adult to me. It was a comic brought to the screen, but it was so freaking adult to me that I was just so proud to be watching something that didn't belittle me or dumb me down or play to, my ignorance. It was an incredible series. So thank you for bringing this one to us. Anybody else?
Yeah, I got a few points I want to bring up. You notice, though, for those of us that have seen the entire run, you notice Jubilee basically got faded out of back into the woodwork fairly quickly, simply because they couldn't do anything with her. First season she was there, but even in the first season they started fading out, realizing that the other characters were much more interesting. Yeah. Now, I have to say, I wasn't a big Beast fan until this show. I really loved the version of Beast that they did in this one. Quoting classic literature, basically being the brains of the outfit, along with his abilities. I am disappointed as to how they did Cyclops. So him and Wolverine just seemed kind of one-dimensional to me.
I liked Wolverine. I mean, Wolverine.
Well, everybody loves Wolverine.
Yeah.
Except you.
I love the theme song for this. Even though there was no lyrics, I think it's such an iconic theme.
It is an iconic theme.
Absolutely.
I agree.
100%. What really got me about this show, though, most of all, beyond the fact that they recreated all the storylines, was, they really focused on the whole theme of why Stan created the X-Men.
Yeah.
He created the X-Men to his way of fighting intolerance, racial injustice, bigotry, because the whole idea of the X-Men is it's a group of beings that protect and serve and save a world that hates and fears them just because they're different. That was his whole point. And they really do focus on that, and if you look at the X-Men, even to this day, it's the most diverse lineup of characters. And granted, the lineup they used in the show isn't the most diverse, but it did grow. And it did change, But they just, like Mark said, it's just so, the themes are so adult. They're so mature. They didn't dumb it down, It's really well done.
Yeah.
Did you watch
real
this
quick.
Rose?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just asking Rose.
Go ahead, Rose.
I never saw the series. Okay, to be honest with you, I don't know where I was in my life at that point, but I do know that its significance, and my husband being the huge Marvel fan that he is, he absolutely loved it. he has a comic that where Wolverine was first introduced to the Hulk, and we had Stan Lee sign it when we met him one time, so we have that. So that's it's something I'd like to get to watch. I'm glad it's on Disney Plus, so now I can watch it with him.
Yeah. I think you should. I think you really should watch
Definitely.
it. Guys, need to say hello to my friend Sachi over in Japan, who's watching in Japan. Hi, sweetheart. Can't wait to see you again. So miss you. I don't know what the time zone is in Japan. Sachi, tell me what time it is in Japan right now, please.
I think it's like 10 o'clock there, 10
it's
p.m.
Nighttime.
Yeah, 10
it's
p.m.
dark there.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Right on. You're good on target here. Go right ahead.
Okay. So got 2 more series to go over. One is one of the best series ever produced by Marvel, and the other was the worst. So let's start with the best. So the follow-up to the X-Men series was Spider-Man. They gave it another shot. This time they nailed it.
Which Spider-Man is this? Oh, it's this Spider-Man. Okay.
Yep, the 90s Spider-Man. It's one of the best adaptations of Spider-Man to date. Like the X-Men the cartoon, Cousin, the show featured amazing animation, fantastic voice work, and a continuous storyline heavily inspired by the comics. The producer, Avi Arad, worked directly with Stan Lee to kind of, work on the spirit of the show and some of the plots. He helmed this amazing adaptation. It was one of the first shows ever to combine hand-drawn cell animation with CGI, which was used to portray the buildings, especially as they were going through in motion, some of the vehicles in the environment.
I remember, yeah.
And so interesting fact about this show, Joe Perry of Aerosmith actually composed the theme song.
Oh, cool.
And he says he does cite the original 60s one as a major influence.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the show also ran for 5 years, just like X-Men did. It also won an Annie Award, which is a big deal in animation. Won for best writing for a single episode. The name of the episode, and I highly recommend you watch it. If you've watched the series, go back and watch this episode because it's great. Okay. It's called The Day of the Chameleon. And it's just a really superb episode of cartoon television.
That's a classic. The Chameleon's a classic Spider-Man villain going back to the 60s.
Yeah, and that's what I loved about the show is, unlike what the X-Men and what the Spider-Man 90s show got right, is unlike a lot of these other shows, they didn't make up a bunch of characters just for the show. They used this incredible, huge list of characters that are available in the comics. You don't need to create new characters.
Yeah.
These guys have been creating the characters from the 60s on. There's no reason to add. You're not going to do a better job than Stan Lee. You're not going to do a better job than, Chris Claremont. It's just, so why not use what you've got? But this is a great show. If you want to roll the clip, the animation is superb in this. It's fantastic.
Yay.
Yeah.
Love it.
Such a energizing intro, that gets you excited for the show. It's so amped up. That guitar solo, just so well done.
Excellent. All right, buddy. You're down to 2.
All right. Can you guys chat for 1 second? I need to grab a charger so this iPad doesn't die.
Oh, yeah. Do that quick. Yeah, we don't want to lose you, buddy. So,
be right back.
Again, guys, you guys that are watching us for the first time, we welcome you every Saturday morning if you can get up to at least come on and see what we got going on. Next week, and I'll say this again, next weekend we're doing a live show. When I say a live show, we're live every weekend. But this is an in-person live show, and we'll be at a convention next weekend. So it's going to be a very interesting formula for us. We've never done this before, so we'll have both an online audience as well as a live audience. So that's going to be interesting how all of this is going to work for us. But everything's experimental, even cartoon in the news. So, and it's
going to be on at a different time, right? We're not going to be on at 9.
Yes, thank you for saying that. It'll be 10 a.m., guys. We're an hour later. We are 1 hour later, so it gives you a little bit of time to get some more shut-eye.
So Mark can get his hair and makeup done.
Hair and makeup done. So join us next weekend. We'll be broadcasting live from Suncoast Fan Fest, which is a convention that's happening in Bradenton, Florida, not far from my favorite beach. Oh my God, I just gave you a hint. Never mind. We're not.
No. Don't tell them where.
His secret lair.
Secret lair. There you go. I like that. We'll be in our secret lair. And this is gonna, like I said, it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna have both a live audience and a regular online audience. So join us next weekend. I have no idea what the topic is gonna be, but we'll figure this out. But anyway, Joe is back with us now. Hey, Joe, what you know? You just got back from a little bit. Never mind. You're too young.
Absolutely nothing.
So my only real complaint about this Spider-Man you did was how tight the story arcs were.
Yes.
Okay. If you missed a couple of episodes for whatever reason, you could get lost and walk away from the show really easily.
That's very
and I did.
Yeah, and also I was a little conflicted with watching CGI with this animation. I remember when the New Adventures of Johnny Quest kind of did the same exact thing. And I was kind of thinking to myself, well, why? I understand that they could probably make it look better, but if that's the case, they might as well make the entire cartoon, computer animated at that point. So that's the only issue that I had with Spider-Man is sometimes when it got into the CGI work, I was just a little for bloods.
I think this one got overshadowed by Batman the Animated Series because that one got all the press and everybody talked about it more. Simply because of being Batman and all that, like you said, the finances were different.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a really good Spider-Man. Is this one on Disney Plus also?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
All of these.
So again, another one to watch.
Yeah.
But they came out at the exact same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The Spider-Man show. I think that the pacing was a lot quicker than X-Men. Mm-hmm. Even when you watch the episodes, it seems like it's so they'll speed through what just happened and then you'll do a scene and then speed through and then another scene. But I also felt that way about the CG. I think they were trying something new.
I think so too. It was experimental. Yeah.
If you remember, so around this time, I want to say within a year or two after this was that Disney's Treasure Planet, which was the first major film to incorporate the CG. Now that was done really well.
That was done very well. Yes.
Yeah, too bad the storyline was horrible.
Yeah, but it's a Disney budget though versus the Saturday morning cartoon budget. So
yeah,
they just couldn't afford the good writers. They just said, "Oh man, but look what we can do."
Well, exactly. Who needs to write when you've got the Flash? You got the spectacle. So,
yeah. Hey, look, we're down to our last one here, I think.
Last one.
Tell us about what you got going on here.
So we're going to end out on a big bang. This is the worst cartoon that has ever been produced by Marvel, widely considered to be the worst. Avengers, United They Stand. So this actually began as a follow-up to Spider-Man and the X-Men. They were going to do Avengers in the same style, which would have been great. That would have been almost like a precursor to the Avengers movies. Instead, we got this. So in '99, this show ran for one season, a very different take on the Avengers. had a very different animation style. They were kind of inspired by Batman Beyond, and this lineup were missing the big three. They did an Avengers show without Captain America, without Iron Man, and without Thor. How do you do that?
Why don't you tell them? Why don't you tell them that? Go ahead. I dare you.
Yep. So instead we got Hawkeye, Ant-Man, Wasp, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Falcon, Quicksilver, Tigra, who's not been in the movies yet, and Wonder Man, who's also not been in the movies yet.
Right.
Well, all right. I don't know how much. I mean, I know you're a comic book, but having watched it back then, I can tell you that matched what was going on in the comic books at the time.
It did.
And that's why I'm sure they did it.
I read that it was licensing issues, that they licensed.
Could have been. I could be wrong.
Captain America and Iron Man for other projects. So yeah. The show was infamous for the armor designs. That was another weird design.
Oh yeah,
like they gave these characters who didn't have armor in the comics these weird like techno armor suits.
Look at those shoulders! What the hell?
That's football. That's the Vision, being the linebacker.
Is that a weapon? Are they two IBCMs or something? What the hell, man?
Yeah, he stabs his enemies with his shoulder pads.
Exactly.
I figured he just did the blocking while somebody ran down the field, to the touchdown.
I swear, looking at him, that is definitely an I Love Lucy clip there,
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, turn around to the left. No, now turn around to the right. No. Oh my God, you killed them all.
Yeah, and as an avid Hawkeye fan, I have to protest the armor and some of the craziness they did to that character on United We Stand.
Yeah. I did watch it. I watched every episode of it when it came on. I just kept hoping for it to get better. No, it's widely.
I never even heard of this one. Okay,
so
you're me on
but I am going to disagree with Joe on the fact that about it being the worst of the Marvel cartoons.
Yeah,
I think there's one worse.
What's that?
Iron Man.
Well, wait a minute. Can we let him finish his show first, Jerome?
So
go ahead.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I was going to, my original list to mark was including Iron Man.
You had me delete it.
Not to. I decided not to because it is bad. But here's the thing. That's bad because of other reasons. It was poorly executed. This was a show that should have died a quick death before it. They should never made it past pilot. Good
point. All right, I'll concede that point.
It's put it this way: it was canceled after less than one season. It has a paltry 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb.
Wow!
Oh God!
It's bad. So let's roll the clip and let's just see how horrible it is. This is not Avengers.
Painful.
So question, why are the Avengers flying back at the end?
Because that's
all of them are flying backwards, and then
because they're running from this one,
and then it's almost like up above them is Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man taunting them like, we're too good for this show, we're gonna sit here on top of the earth,
Yeah. Almost like they're saying, "Hey, look at our sidekicks."
Yeah, exactly. It's a sidekick show.
It's a sidekick show. Oh, that was painful.
So this show almost killed Marvel Animation. It ended the run that began in the early 90s. There were some other good series in the 90s. The Hulk show is decent. Iron Man's pretty bad, but It's widely considered to be the worst. But the 2000s did start some new series afterwards. So, we didn't kill animation or Marvel animation completely with that show. Just came close.
Right. Now that we're talking about Iron Man, there was an Iron Man. There was more than one Iron Man series that was out there, and the one I think I hated the most is when he was the young kid.
Yes,
when he was very young. It's like, who the hell is that?
Oh, that was horrible. That was horrid.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was bad. But there are some good shows that came out after this. Obviously, we do things that are the 90s and before. But if you ever want to check out some cool series from the 2000s, X-Men Evolution was really good.
Oh, I love that one. That was great.
Spectacular Spider-Man, which I know the artist that did the character designs for that. His name's Sean Cheeks Galloway, and he did a fantastic take on Spider-Man. It only lasted a season, unfortunately, but it's actually one of the best Spider-Man series. The Black Panther series from the 2000s.
I love that. That's a good one.
So luckily, these shows all paved the way for what we got now. So, and now we have What If, which is the first actual Marvel animated series that's
Did you see last night's episode?
With the movies. What do you call it? The one with Killmonger.
Yes. That was a good one. Hey, Charlie makes a good point, because this is exactly what I was thinking when they did the split screen on the characters. It's like, oh, and the rest, Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, Charlie. Good job, man. Good job. Yeah. So Marvel is dominant in the comic world, shall I say, as well as the animation. Currently, I'm on I'm about to sometime today enter the second season of Titans. I'm really, I've been missing the Titans. I had never seen it before, because that was when, what was that, Jerome? DC had their own network?
It was on DC Universe. It was on DC Universe.
And it's like, no, I'm not paying for another streaming service. Hell no. Sorry, I lost.
Apparently, a lot of people agreed with you because it's no more. Okay, we had it. I actually saw the first season of Titans. I couldn't get into the second season.
Well, and they say second and third is a lot better than first, and I hope so, even though the last episode of Titans really freaked me out. So anyway, go ahead, Joe.
No, I've also been watching Titans. I started originally on a free subscription for DC. I couldn't get into it, and then several people said to go back and watch it, finish it.
And this is what I'm doing. I'm waiting into these two seasons, these season 2 and season 3 that people have been raving about. I'm working. I had to see the beginning, had to muddle through 11 episodes of the first season. So we'll see what all the hoopla is about starting this weekend, I'm assuming.
Season 2 was great. I just finished season 2 this week, and I really like it. They definitely, there's some choices that take too long in my opinion, but I know why they're making those. But I think it's good. It's definitely way better than the shows that they've been doing on the CW lately. I was a long time.
Oh my God! Do you mean the Teenage Angst Network?
Yeah.
I like Stargirl. I'm
getting really fed up with all of them. Be honest with
you.
Well,
I like Stargirl because they brought in the Justice Society and they, all that stuff.
I still watch Stargirl. Superman and Lois is starting to wear on me, but
I gave up on that a long time ago.
It's like, come on, guys! I'm sick and tired of this go between between your children.
Does the Titans follow any storylines from the comics?
Some.
No,
kind of loosely.
I mean, okay, this is an R-rated Titans. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, if you read some of the stuff in the 80s, I mean, they could easily have slipped over to the 80s. I mean, the Judas contract alone was a little creepy.
I understand. There's a little bit of well, I'm not doing spoilers, but there is a lot of darkness in. A lot of darkness in Titans.
They borrow some they don't do any direct storylines, but they do.
Right, okay.
They borrow this plot from over here and this plot from over there.
Okay, thanks.
They even borrow characters, although you were assuming to see those characters, seeming that it is Teen Titans, okay, and why they were Teen Titans in the first place. But you know, it's a lot of loose writing there, and you gotta do all 11 episodes and kind of keep the smile off your face, or the smirk off your face, shall I say? But
I like the Titans. It's fun. It's decent.
So the reason I'm sorry, Joe. The reason I brought that up is because you made a comment on What If and the Killmonger episode, and how What If would be pretty much a version of the Titans. You know, What If, and you see all the other possibilities in the What If episodes as transposed onto the Titans episode, because none of that we see in Titans we read in the comics, although, you know, with some, you know, variations, I guess I can say, for better choice. But
and I think that, you know, doing a series like What If is a great idea for animation. I mean, it's hard for Marvel because they don't want to. You don't want to take a heavy hitter that could be an awesome film or an awesome TV series, and they don't want to just put that into animation. So I think What If is a great idea. I also think that they should take characters that wouldn't work well, or that they don't want to spend that kind of money on for the films or the live action series, and do animation. There was supposed to be a Howard the Duck series, for example. And Kevin Smith was going to write it. And I'm a huge Howard the Duck fan. I think he's a great character. So I think somebody like that could work. You know, because it does have a more adult tone and adult humor, and it makes a lot more sense for. Did you see? I mean, you saw the What If episode where, you know, Howard is walking around talking. He's got his stogie, and he's looking for you know, martini. I mean, it's great. You know.
Well, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was exactly where he's supposed to be in Guardians of the Galaxy too. So
yeah,
I don't want to say Howard the Duck anything. No, sorry.
Well, hopefully we'll still see some cool Marvel animation come out. I think What If is great. I personally, and I've been telling people this, you know, I was really you know, waxing just, you know, philosophical about how great Batman was when I did my DCAU. I feel that way about What If. I think What If is really doing something different with animation that hasn't been done before.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, the latest episode with all the twists and histories, and not just in one character. It's like, oh, wow, I didn't think about that. What if, you know, I literally, well, not going to spoil it, but I thought Killmonger was going to end up being something or someone else.
Yeah, me too. Oh, I did too. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, guys, we got to cut it. We did good here on this show. Really appreciate Joe joining us again. We try to fit in guest hosts when, you know, we can, and when we need them, when they want to, either way. And anyone is, you know, can be a guest host on the show. In fact, coming up soon, we have Brady Jern, we have Thorsten Stitchwich from Germany, and we have, help me, guys. Oh, Mark Street. Mark Street's coming back. So if any guys want to co-host?
Aren't Garrett and Sage going to be coming in at some point to do that?
Yes, Garrett and Sage are doing Pink Panther, I do believe, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought they were doing as the Panther.
Yeah, and my schedule is already slid all the way into this December, so bear with us, guys. If you want to go ahead and co-host the show, just give us a holler, and we'll be glad to have you on. And watching this show, you pretty much know how we like to see the format go, and you're more than welcome if you have something you want to focus on, like Joe did today, which is the Marvel Universe, and whoever turn it is next week is going. Wait a minute, is that me?
I believe so, because it's yours, because you're doing the live show.
You're on a live show. So yeah, it is your turn.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're in Southwest Florida tomorrow, if you're in the Southwest Florida area, there's a really cool little con for steampunks called it's Southwest Florida SteamCon. It happens like every other year now. They didn't have it in 20, but we had it in 2019. It's a lot of fun. Little unique con. I'm going to be there selling my book, Warped Influences. So if you're in the Southwest Florida area, it's over by Shoeless Joe's, Crown Plaza in Fort Myers from 10 to 6 tomorrow. So come by, say hi, buy a book, support local cons because it's so important. Thank you so much.
Definitely what Rose said. Definitely go ahead and attend that con. It's time to get back into the con business.
It's just $10, so that's a nice half a day out. Yeah,
it's a nice half a day. It's really interesting how we live in the state of Florida and we enjoy being indoors.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. So that's cool. Joe, you still there? You look frozen. Okay,
I am here. Yes.
Oh, I thought you were sleeping.
Joe, great show today, by the way.
It may have. Thank you.
Yeah.
What is Shoeless Joe's? What is that?
Oh, it's a little restaurant. It's like a sports bar by the Crown Plaza Hotel. So
yeah, you know who Shoeless Joe was, though, Joe, don't you?
No, I just thought they were making fun of me.
Oh, no. It's a very famous, well-known. In fact, Field of Dreams was focused on the baseball character. That was Shoeless Joe. Shoeless Joe.
The Chicago
Black Sox.
Black Sox. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, the whole Black Sox scandal.
Yeah, very famous baseball star, shall I say?
Nice.
So so we'll call you Shoeless Joe. Okay. All right. So hey guys, thank you so much for joining us here on Saturday Morning Cartoons. We have classic television SmackDown coming up this Friday night, and I think that's Brady's show.
Yep.
It is.
Brady is going to be focusing on. You guys tell him.
The Prisoner.
The Prisoner, guys.
He is not a number. He's a free man. I love that show.
That should be absolutely awesome for you guys to attend. That will be Friday night. And then, of course, I'm off down to the convention on Saturday with another Saturday Morning Cartoon show. And we got guest stars coming up like crazy. So this has been good. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm not sure I know what else to say other than
you know what? I am going to do a plug real quick. I believe that Garrett has a show tonight at 6:00 with regard to the upcoming Suncoast Fan Fest.
Oh, I did not know that.
I believe he is running a special on that.
Oh, okay. Yep. Very good. 6:00 tonight. Go to the HWWS Facebook page or the website or the YouTube channel and take a look at all of our cavalcade of stars and shows that we have for this. So do me a favor, watch these commercials and we'll go ahead and say goodbye until next week at least.
I'm GW Pomacher.
I'm Dina Marie.
I'm Sage Ia.
I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
Hey, I'm David Thompson.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Mia.
Hi, I'm Mark.
Hey there, this is Dave Adams.
Hi, I'm Rosemary Rose.
Jerome Conner here.
Hey guys, it's Josh Bauer.
It's Willow Schuyler.
I'm Cosplay Michael.
Abba. It's your boy Country.
I'm Ryan Permison.
And I'd like to ask you guys, please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please
subscribe.
Subscribe.
Please subscribe to HWWS
Web TV.
Great bunch of people.
And don't forget to smash the bell.
Ring that bell.
Smash that bell.
Hit that bell.
Hit the bell to be notified.
Hit the bell to get notified of new shows
and videos. You're going to want to do that, so do that soon.
We can cross that 20,000 mark.
And get us to 100,000 subscribers.
To 1 million and 10 million and 100 million.
On HWWS
Web TV.
You really like it. I guarantee it.
Thank you.